Hello and welcome back to the program. I am once again your host, Joe. This week we watched 1977's Three Women. It's on the list because it's a film that Robert Altman directed. It's a psychological drama, 7.7 out of 10, hour and 24 minutes. Just over 2 hours. It is funny that the challenge just straight up had as a category, hey, pick something that Robert Altman directed. He has a lot of good things under his belt. I could have watched A Prairie Home Companion. I could have watched McCabe and Mrs. Miller, which is apparently one of the best westerns ever made. I could have watched MASH, or The Player, or The Long Goodbye. Lots of good options with Robert Altman. But I chose Three Women. It seemed a little interesting from the poster. It stars Shelley Duvall, Sissy Spacek, and Janice Rule. I like Shelley Duvall, she does good work, and she's pretty good in this. Okay, so Three Women is basically the story of two women. This sounds weird, but stay with me. It's mainly about Shelley Duvall's character Millie and Sissy Spacek's character Pinky and how they relate to each other, how one looks up to the other, how one looks after the other, and as the film goes on, they sort of reverse roles in a very strange and dramatic way. Millie works in a sort of old folks' day spa. They do like fitness exercises in a pool, they walk around with the old folks, they put them in a hot tub with like, bath salts sort of thing. So she's got sort of like a caregiver or maternal role. Pinky is new in town, she gets hired on to the same place, and she is obviously younger than Shelley Duvall's character, and she just immediately gravitates to Millie.
Oh, Polly, this is Pinky. Pinky, that's Polly. Hi, Millie. Hi.
Like, she is full-on, like, infatuated with her.
Wanna go see the bedroom? Yeah.
Like, there's even a part where Millie misses, like, a day or two of work, and Pinky is just like, where is she? What happened to her? Does anybody know where Millie is?
Whenever Poochie's not on screen, all the other characters should be asking, where's Poochie?
Millie is telling her stories about how she's hosting parties, she sees these people, she does these things. Actually, she will tell these stories to anybody who will listen. That's part of her characterization, but we'll get back to that in a minute. Because Pinky, she ends up deciding to tag along. She gets roped into some of these excursions. And by that I of course mean they go to the only club in town, a western-themed bar called Dodge City. What is there to do at Dodge City? Why, there's drinking, there's a dirt bike track out back, and sometimes you can shoot guns there. Thrilling stuff. Welcome to small-town America. Yeah, so Pinky ends up going to Dodge City with Millie. She's like, do you drink much? And she's like, yeah! Because she knows that Millie's there, and what else is there to do but drink? So she gets a beer, she winds up like just downing it in one incredibly long shot, just there it goes. She smokes with her. At one point she's trying to imitate her at work. Like, she sees Millie step out from one of the old folks she's looking after to have a cigarette, and so Pinky decides she's going to do the same thing. She doesn't know Millie knows to watch out for the boss coming by, so Pinky ends up getting written up for imitating Millie at work. And eventually, the two of them end up living together. Millie's roommate moves out. Deirdre, I think her name was? Yeah, she moves out, presumably to move in with some fellas, so Millie needs somebody to help cover the rent, and so she ends up bringing in Pinky. Now Millie, her self-image is tied up almost entirely in how others see her, and she's basically delusional about it. Like, we see her talking at her co-workers about Scrabble, asking them, do you guys know how to play Scrabble? Have you ever played Scrabble? And how this fella she was hanging out with knew a whole lot of words that she'd never even heard of, so he was very good at Scrabble. Like, he played Orator, and that blew her mind.
I think it's some kind of professional talker or something.
She's always talking about how she hosts parties, how she wants... There's all these fellas who are trying to date her. There's one guy that lives in the apartment complex that they both end up living in. His name is Tom, and she's like, oh yeah, no, I'm interested in him, but I won't date him until he gets over that cough he's got.
He's always asking me out and everything, but I'm not going to go out with him until he gets over that cold. Oh, hi, Tom. How's your cold?
Like she's trying to eat her lunches with the hospital staff. The spa that they work in is near a hospital, so they sort of share grounds. But she doesn't work at the hospital, she works at this spa thing. But she's trying to seem cool by hanging out with the doctors in the hospital. And the whole time she's hanging out with anybody outside of Pinky, she is just talking, and everybody else is not paying her any attention whatsoever. Like, you can see the disinterest on people's faces. Eventually, she winds up trying to host one of these legendary parties she's been talking up, and she invites some people, and as Pinky is taking out the trash, Deirdre and the 3 guys I assume she's moved in with drive up and tell her, hey, you live with Millie, right? We won't be coming to the party, goodbye, and they drive off.
Give her a message for me, okay? I'm Deirdre. We were supposed to come by maybe for a drink or something, but cut that out, will you, Tom? We were, but these guys are real hot to trot, so we're just gonna go right on out to Dodge City and shoot some tires something. You tell her maybe we'll see you later?
Let's go.
Let's go.
So Pinky's like, yeah, they said they weren't going to come to the party. They said they couldn't make it. And Millie just puts it all on her. It's not Millie's fault that her party is lame and nobody wants to go to it. It must be Pinky's fault. Pinky must have done something. So she just blows up at her. But like these entrees she was preparing that are supposed to be like serious draws for people, one of them was just pigs in a blanket. Like she just had like Pillsbury dough wrapped around, hot dogs. She had like ready-made desserts that she just sort of added a whipped cream and a maraschino cherry to the top of. Like, there's nothing fancy here. And like, this is the sort of thing she's saying is like making her parties legendary. So she has this sort of ego as a socialite, and she just does not live up to it whatsoever. And the fact that everybody else is aware of it but her, and also Pinky, I suppose, means that like, yeah, she needs to deflect to someone else, and she deflects to Pinky, and Pinky takes it very much to heart, and she just like leaps from the balcony, lands in the pool, and goes into a coma. And then, she's in the hospital. Millie's coming by to visit. She wants to check on her, make sure she's okay. She's getting everybody at work to sign a card to be like, hey, get well soon, Pinky. And like, everybody at work is just so checked out that they're like, who? Yeah, when Pinky eventually comes out of the coma, she's got like partial amnesia. She doesn't remember her parents at all, but she remembers Millie, and she just starts taking on a bunch of Millie's like worst qualities. Now suddenly she's very much like, now she suddenly wants to get with all the guys, and she wants to go do all these things with people. She ends up being the person who goes off to Dodge City. Does not bring Millie along, doesn't even tell her. She actually takes Millie's car. And she's shooting guns with the fellow who runs Dodge City. God, what was his name? Edgar. God, I should mention. Edgar is their landlord, and he also owns the bar. He used to be a stuntman, and so he's got like gun tricks that he does, because he was like a stand-in for a guy on like Ponderosa or something. And his wife, Willie, who is our third woman, who frankly doesn't get enough time to really be super mentioned in the title. Willie goes around and she does these fancy paintings. Fancy. She does these strange paintings depicting these odd humanoid figures. I don't even know what to make of this. Okay, I mean, I know what to make of this, but like, I don't know how to describe it. I don't know if it will get past the YouTube censor. Please, YouTube. Should I blur this? It's probably fine. So in the first half of the movie, Millie had Edgar over and she wound up sleeping with him, and Pinky was like, Millie, but he's married. Millie, you can't do that. He's married. What about Willie? She's just like, shush, you go into the rollaway bed. I'm gonna take this guy to my bedroom. And then after she gets out of the coma, fucking Pinky does the same thing. But she's like super young, so like Millie is like, you get out of here. You get away from her. What's wrong with you? Yeah, it's just, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, but also, oh my god, when they go for your worst traits, it is uncanny. and that's what happens here basically. Pinky becomes a horrible mirror for Shelley Duvall's character to look at herself through. Now, as mentioned, there is the third woman, Willie. If Millie is meant to have sort of motherly vibes at the start, then her Wario, Willie, has like twice the vibes. She is pregnant, she's super pregnant, she's very around. She's very silent. I don't remember if she had a single line through the whole film, but she's also super creative. Like I said, she does all these paintings. And I think that she's meant to be like juxtaposed with Millie, because people comment on Millie all the time as somebody who tries too hard, somebody who's super invested in what other people think. And then Willie is just somebody who's out there doing things of her own volition, and she doesn't really interact with people, she's doing her own thing. She's doing these paintings, and what anybody else thinks is very whatever. At one point, Pinky even comes up and is like, "I like your paintings." And Willie just looks at her a little bit confused. And then Millie comes in and is like, "Come on, get out of here. Come on, let's go, we're going." Just drags her away. Now, if Millie is described as a more modern type of woman, then I think that Willie is almost kind of like a strange view of like an archetypal conservative style mother, because she is silent and she is pregnant and she is making things. Like, she's decorating the property. You know, that's a form of housekeeping, right? And then with the ending, I don't want to call it fast-paced, but it's definitely, maybe it's rushed. I don't know how to describe this. Edgar comes into the apartment, and basically he wants to he wants to get with Pinky. He just full on comes in expecting to get laid. He's drunk, and Millie is like, "What are you doing?" And he's just like, "Oh hey, do you want to get in on this too?" And Millie's like, "No, get the hell out. What's wrong with you? Why are you like stinking drunk right now?" He says, "Hey, I'm becoming a father right now. Willie's giving birth to the baby." They're like, "Well, okay, did you take her to the hospital? Why aren't you there?" And he's like, "Nah, she didn't need me." And so they're just like, "Get your shit, we're going to go look after her." So Pinky and Millie pile into the car and off they go. Or they find Willie, and she is indeed giving birth. It is horrible. She's just in her house. He didn't go to a doctor or anything. Millie is like, "Pinky, go get in the car, go get a doctor." Pinky is just completely non-responsive, looking at what's happening. The baby is stillborn, and then immediately after that scene ends, it cuts to the three of them now own the bar. Pinky has gone back to being like... it almost feels like Pinky's being like adopted by Millie, and Millie has taken the role of the mother, and also Willie is there too. And so like, I guess the implication is maybe they murdered Edgar, and just now the three of them run the place. But like, they didn't explain it. We don't know how much time has passed. Him being shot is a little bit foreshadowed with every time we see one of these women shooting, and him saying this.
"I'd rather face 1,000 crazy savages than one woman who's learned how to shoot."
Now, I need to talk about the soundtrack on this thing too. This isn't so much like music as it is just atmospheric sound. I don't understand what they were going for with this. Like, okay, it feels like the sort of music that would play when, like, the Scooby Gang is investigating a mystery in a haunted house. It's just kind of spooky, kind of creepy, but not enough to overpower a scene. It's just there in the background. But like, there's nothing spooky about some of these scenes that it's in. Pinky is not a scary character. She's weird, but she's not a scary character.
Yeah.
Now, it almost feels like a John Carpenter-esque soundtrack, except used in very strange ways. There's also something... Obviously, I talked about Willie's paintings and how strange they are, but like there is obviously some sort of symbolism tied up with the film in them. There's this scene with the three figures and the male over here, and he's like casting some of them out, and he's standing triumphantly as the others are slinking away. There's ones where they're fighting. Millie and Pinky fought. Is this a painting of that? Is it meant to like mimic that? Maybe a little bit. But they're just such strange figures. I can't even imagine, like, how do you even request something like this get painted? Like, what do you tell the artist? What do you tell the production company? Props has to make this. Did Robert Altman have a thing in his mind? Did he do up a little sketch to give to an artist to say like, hey, make it look like this? And the artist said, that's fucked up, but okay. I don't know. But I can appreciate just how alien they look. If for nothing else, then it does draw attention to the fact that maybe this is something you should be paying attention to. And the meaning behind them might not become clear until after your first watch, which is also kind of a strange thing to do in a film from the 70s because there's no guarantee you're going to be able to watch it more than once. This is before home video release. You got it when it was in the theaters, and that's it. Now, of course, the usual question is, would I recommend this film? I think my answer has to be, if you're looking for something by Robert Duvall specifically, you probably have better options, which is not to say this is a bad option. This was entertaining. I do not regret having watched this. It was puzzling, but I was entertained, and it didn't drag on. Anytime a film is over 2 hours, I said this during Brazil, when it's over 2 hours and you don't even notice, that means the movie's got you. It's an engaging film, so give it a watch. You won't be disappointed. And hey, speaking of giving things a watch, what are we going to watch next week? 3, 2, 1, and go. Alright, down into the horse plinko. They go. There's no course on the back, it's just a reflection. Down they are. Sweet Smell of Success comes out first, followed by The Hit, My Favorite Software is Being Here and Never Weaken, Cecil B. Demented, A Man Escape, and After Hours in the back. Sweet Smell of Success going over here into these rotating obstacles, getting stuck. And A Man Escaped has just flown right through. On the other side, After Hours and Cecil B. Demented are neck and neck in the lead. Everything's really close. Not After Hours. A Man Escaped is out front, though. And now After Hours has taken the lead. Sweet Smell of Success is now also back in contention. We have weird electrical dealies on the outside. Bollards will slow these guys down. This is where things get screwy. Something got launched. Cecil B. Demented got launched. Where did... Oh. Okay. Alright. This is weird. After Hours launched. The Hit launched. Neither sticks the landing. Never Weaken has landed in the tray. Will My Favorite Software is Being Here manage to make it over? A Man Escaped also gets launched. Where are you going to land? In the abyss. Only 2 things left on the course. Sweet Smell of Success and My Favorite Software is Being Here. God, how long is Never Weaken? It can't be that long. It's super old. Alright guys, what are you doing? My favorite software is Being Here is going once again into the portal and just drops into the abyss. Okay, Sweet Smell of Success, can you manage it? No, you can't. Alright, it's official. Our winner, the only thing to cross into the finish line, is Never Weaken. Everything else fell to its death. You know what it was? Those portals caught fire. It was going into fire. They were being teleported into fire is what happened. Whew. Alright. Well, look at that. Never Weekend finished in a minute and a half. Let's pull up the list and see why it's on the movie list. Never Weekend, it's number 7 on the list. It is from 1921. It's on the list because I needed something from the 1920s. It's directed by Fred C. Newmeyer. It is a comedy, 7.5 out of 10 on IMDb, 28 minutes long. Okay, you know, usually when I get a short film like this, my instinct is to pick the second placer to, like, pair it with. Nothing else crossed the line. So we're just going to do a short movie this week. If I recall correctly, this film has as its star Harold Lloyd, one of the greats from the silent era. So that'll be great fun. Basically, there's 3 really huge names from the silent era. Anytime people talk about silent movies that have, like, stood the test of time, it's one of these 3 guys. Buster Keaton, Harold Lloyd, Charlie Chaplin. I've watched Chaplin films. I've watched things based on Chaplin films. I watched The Cameraman with Buster Keaton earlier in the challenge, and now I'm going to do Harold Lloyd. Fun fact, Zoidberg's uncle in Futurama is based on Harold Lloyd. You might tell because it's a not-so-clever reference they named him Harold Zoid.